Match 64 out of 64 of the 2023 African Cup of Nations. That's right, we're in the final. We all made it between Nigeria and host Cote d'Ivoire. My name is Maher Mizahi. I'm your host of this version of the African Five-A-Side podcast, brought to you by africasaCountry.com. And this is the big one, folks. Before we delve into this pretty detailed preview of this final match of our favorite tournament, just a quick note, I apologize. There's somebody cutting ceramic tiles just on the balcony over here. My daughter's napping. She's probably going to wake up screaming her head off. So please do excuse any audio distractions that you might hear. But without further ado, let's get into the real important things. Let's get into the football. So, team news. There's actually not much team news for either side. Zaidu Sanusi, I believe, is a late doubt. He started most of Nigeria's matches, but in the last match against South Africa, they started Bright Osai Samuel, remember, and moved Ola Aina to left back. So even if Sanusi can't go, I think Nigeria are pretty confident with their backup plan. Today we had press conferences at the main media center in Treichville in Abidjan. Press conferences with the coach and the player. Jose Peseiro, the Nigeria coach, talked about, being doubted, and he only lost one match out of 14, but that he also wants to win this tournament for Nigeria. Emrys Faye, the Cote d'Ivoire coach, talked about, him not being the special one, that this is a team effort, how special this moment is, and so on and so forth. Pretty boring stuff, pretty standard stuff. I think both teams are just ready to dig in now. Let's talk about, first of all, before we talk about the tactical and technical aspects of this match, let's talk about the physical aspect, fatigue. Because again, 64th match out of 64th, match number 7 out of 7 for both of these sides. What kind of physical shape are they going into this match? And I think that's a very, very good question to ask, because if we pay attention, in my opinion, Nigeria's two least impressive matches in this tournament came in their last 2 matches. And that, when you start lining up consecutive poor performances, not poor results, in my opinion, that could be a sign of fatigue. If we look at some of the data of the expected starters, so if we take the starters from the South Africa match and assume they're going to start this match against Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria are going to have 9 players that played more than 400 minutes and 4 players that played more than 500 minutes. In comparison, 9. In comparison, Cote d'Ivoire are only going to have 4. So Ndika, Konan, Kessié, and Seko Fofana. The 9 for Nigeria are Sami Ajayi, Ola Aina, Victor Osimhen, Frank Onyeka, and then Calvin Bassey, Trustekong, Ademola Lookman, Alex Iwobi, and Moses Simon. So Nigeria have, more minutes accumulated in their legs. But at the same time, Nigeria haven't traveled as much. Nigeria have only played 1 match outside of Abidjan. They played, I believe, South Africa and Yamoussoukro, if I'm not mistaken. Cote d'Ivoire was in Bouaké recently, but they also traveled around a bit as well. So Nigeria traveled less, but their starters have played more. And so that's going to be curious to see. I do think Nigeria are going to be the more tired side, the more fatigued side, and Cote d'Ivoire are going to be the fresher physical side, in my opinion. What about tactically? So physically, let's give the advantage to Cote d'Ivoire. But what about tactically? I don't think we're going to see any surprises tactically. Throughout this tournament, Cote d'Ivoire have played a 4-3-3. They haven't strayed from that at all. And Nigeria started their first match playing a 4-3-3, and then they switched to the current system that they're playing, which Jose Peseiro calls a 3-4-3. I've seen people call it a 5-2-3, a 3-5-2, whatever the case may be. But they haven't strayed from, let's call it a 3-4-3. They haven't strayed from this 3-4-3. Will there be a surprise? We saw South Africa surprise Nigeria and surprised everybody else when they switched to match Nigeria's formation. Will there be a similar kind of surprise? Me personally, I don't anticipate that being the case. If you made it this far in a tournament, that clearly means that you're doing something correct. So I don't think you want to overanalyze and overthink it and try to make a last minute change, because if it goes wrong, people are going to criticize you. They're going to say, why are you, in Algeria we say, why are you philosophizing too much? Just do what works. It got you here in the first place. So Why has the system worked for Nigeria? It's worked for Nigeria because Nigeria had a real lack of midfield depth, in my opinion, and what this formation allows them to do is really allows them to be compact when they're defending, throw on a lot of good defenders, which they have. All of their defenders have been absolutely fantastic, except for maybe Zaidu Sanusi in possession, and then it allows them to be very vertical when they attack. And why does Cote d'Ivoire use the 4-3-3? I think because they realize that their strength is in midfield. And so them playing a 4-3-3, I think, accentuates the strengths of their midfielders the best. And I think it's going to get the best out of a player like Seko Fofana, who will be a threat in this match because Nigeria tend to play a lower block. I think Cote d'Ivoire's midfield are going to be the dominant midfield in this matchup, and a player like Seko Fofana is going to be extremely dangerous from 30 yards out because of how many long shots he had in this tournament. He might be leading. I don't know. He's the player that I can remember shooting the most from a distance. So that's going to be definitely something that Nigeria have to watch out for. So yeah, just a quick recap of how both sides have played. We mentioned Nigeria sit back and they tend to spring forward in transition, and that Cote d'Ivoire tried to hold on to the ball more. There's only two sides left by the time this video comes out. But still, like ever since Algeria left the tournament, I think Cote d'Ivoire have been leading in possession, number of passes played. So they tend to hold on to the ball, try to create from wide areas. Since Sebastien Haller came back, they've been putting in a lot of crosses and being a little more direct. But I do think that that's a key issue here. So let's talk about Cote d'Ivoire, because Cote d'Ivoire went up and down and up and down and up and down, right? They start the tournament off with a 2-0 win against Guinea-Bissau. They struggle in the group stages. They lose their next two matches to Nigeria and to Equatorial Guinea. And then they go down against Senegal. And this is after they fired their coach. They brought in a new coach. And again, we questioned their mental strength. Could they come back? And they did come back. And so they've been up and down and up and down. But in my opinion, one of the main catalysts of this transformation has been the introduction of Simon Adingra and Sebastien Haller. Against Senegal, it was the final 15 minutes that Adingra came in. He supplies the ball to Haller after, doing a great job on the wing. Haller finds Nicolas Pepe. They win a penalty. Frank Kessié transforms the penalty, and then we're in extra time. And so Adingra and Haller save their skin. It was the same thing against Mali. Simon Adingra gets subbed in with just 2 or 3 minutes to play. He scores the equalizer and saves Cote d'Ivoire's skin again. And then Sebastien Haller scores against DR Congo in the semifinals. So the introduction of those two, in my opinion, have been a key difference. If it weren't for those two, I do think Cote d'Ivoire would be, well, they're already at home, but they would be eliminated from this tournament by now. Why? I think one of the reasons is Simon Adingra. He can carry first of all, I love watching him dribble because he can sprint full speed with his head up and dribble without slowing down at all. But also he does a great job of, cutting in instead of, a player like Oumar Diakite, for example, on the right wing for Cote d'Ivoire, a player like Jeremy Boga, a player like Jonathan Bamba. They can dribble in the final third, but they're looking to get down to the byline. They're looking down to get down the byline, and probably put in a low cross. Adingra can get his head up and just make his way across into the center of the pitch and then be creative and link up very well with Haller. And Haller, we don't need to talk about his strengths. We all know what his strengths are. He's great in the air, good link-up play, and he's the leader of this team as well. So them two coming back, I think, make a big difference for Cote d'Ivoire. That is why they are where they are today. And for Nigeria, it's been great defending from Calvin Bassey, Sami Ajayi, Truste Konk has a shout for player of the tournament. You also have Ola Aina, who's been great. You have the three up top, Simon, Admola Lookman, and Victor Osimhen. I don't want to just keep naming players and saying they were great because that's very, very boring. But what they've been very good at is defending as a unit and attacking as a unit. Meaning they defend, they absorb the pressure, and when they attack in numbers, especially those front three. And they do a good job of being unselfish and playing for one another. So what are some of the matchups that I'm looking out for, me personally? I'm looking at, let's show you some screenshots, but I'm looking at personally, why is Sebastian Aller, why does he make such a difference? How is he so dangerous in the air? And is this going to pose a problem for the Nigerian Super Eagles? And for me, the main reason why he's dangerous is because he does a great job of finding the fullbacks and picking on them. So let's look at some screenshots. This is the first one, and this is against DRC in the semifinal. As you can see, Aller here, he's lined up just alongside Chancel Mbemba. Simone Adingra has the ball on the wing, on the right wing. And here, it's not an extremely insightful screenshot, but what you're going to see, the first thing I want to show you is that when he's in the box, ready to receive a cross or ready to attack a cross, he's going to try to find a space between the center half and the fullback. So I put 2 red X's on the center halves, and I have a yellow circle around Aller. But he's not gonna try to cut in front of Mbemba here. You see, he's gonna give him a little shove, and he's gonna try to find a space in between. The ball goes over everybody's head, and he ends up trying to do a bicycle kick after. But that's just the first shot that I wanted to show you, so I can set you up for the next set, which are right here. Also against DRC, but look at where Aller is lining up now. Once again, he's behind Chancel Mbemba, the center half, right? Now it's Max Allen Gradel on the ball, and I think Wilfred Singo is going to come help him out and put the cross in. I have 2 red X's again on the center halves and a yellow circle on Aller. So the ball finds its way to Singo. Gradel makes a run in the box. And again, look at where Aller is. He's on the backside of Chancel Mbemba. He's not trying to cut across from him in the face of goal. He's finding that space between the fullback and the center half. Ball comes in, and it's a great ball from Wilfred Singo. And Aller finds space behind Mbemba. There is one player that occupies Mbemba in front of him, and Aller is going to find a space behind him, and he's just going to head just wide. But what a great chance for Cote d'Ivoire. I expected him to score this goal in the 39th minute. Let's keep looking at Aller's positioning on crosses. Now look at this. This is in the second half against Cote d'Ivoire, and this is against DR Congo, and this is the goal. So again, we have the ball on the right wing, yeah? Look where the center halves are. Adingra now does a great job of himself cutting in. And you better believe that this has been practiced in the training ground. This is not random. Adingra and Aller switch places. Adingra occupies the center half, Chancel Mbemba, the right center half for DR Congo, number 22, as you can see. Sebastian Aller finds himself on Gideon Kalulu, the right back, who has a full 30 centimeters on maybe. So the ball comes, I think it's Max Allen Gradel, works his way down the flank, puts the ball in, and look at this. You have DR Congo's best player in the air, Mbemba, on the shortest player, Adingra, and you have Aller on Kalulu. And this is just dream. This is a dream if you're Sebastian Aller. Ball finds its way, a little bit of fortune about, the volley that he hits, slams it into the ground and bounces over the goalkeeper, and it's a goal. And Cote d'Ivoire are off to the finals. But the fact that he lined up against the fullback, I think, was the most fascinating thing here. And one final set of screenshots for Sebastian Aller. This is against Mali. Similar setup. Wilfred Singo puts a throw in, and look at where Aller is. Now he's lined up on Hamari Traore, who again he has a height advantage against. I have 2 red X's on the center halves, Nyakate and Kiki Koyate. And they're occupied with, you can't really see him, but there's another Ivorian player behind the defensive midfield. Their eyes are on the ball. They're not paying attention to where Aller is. And he drifts out to the fullback, Amari Traore, who, by the way, I saw at the airport leaving Abidjan. And he's not that tall at all. I was about the same size as him. So a little bit of interplay. Again, Malian center halves are looking at the ball watching. Not, I don't know what you could do here. I don't know if you could tell Hamari Traore to come inside, and if you, as a center half, take Aller on the exterior. I don't know, but you have to be aware that he is behind you. Wilfred Singo puts in this cross, and again, you see Aller is on Traore, and Aller just absolutely towers over him. And we also thought this was a goal, but this clangs off of the crossbar. So a huge chance, and again, it comes from Aller finding that fullback and bullying him. So how is this going to affect Nigeria? Can Nigeria deal with this? Well, first of all, Nigeria plays a back 5. So instead of two center halves, they play with three center halves, right? They'll have Ajayi, they'll have Trustekong, and they'll have Bassi. I think, first of all, that's going to help because all of a sudden, you don't have to worry about, the fullback covering the space behind two defenders. Fullbacks are going to be less concerned with crossing. They're going to be more concerned with stopping the ball, the access, stopping the ball coming in on a cross than actually defending the cross. So Nigeria are set up to defend this pretty well. And Ola Aina, I think, is a very intelligent, very strong, very aware fullback. And so he has his work cut out for him because if from all of those crosses, they came from the right side. So that means Sebastian Aller is going to probably drift out to the left side. Now it depends who's going to be playing right wing back for Nigeria. Is it going to be Bright Osai Samuel? Is it going to be Ola Aina? If it's Ola Aina, I'm comfortable with that. If it's Bright Osai Samuel, I don't know. But that's something to watch out for. Can Aller isolate the Nigerian fullbacks, win the ball in the air, and score from across, as he's been threatening to do throughout the tournament? Let's talk about the other center half, the other star center half in this game. Star boy, Victor Osimhen, yeah? And what makes him so dangerous? We talked about what makes Aller so dangerous. What makes Osimhen so dangerous? Well, I think what makes him so dangerous is that, first of all, players are scared of him. He scares you into unforced errors. And let's take a look at how he does that. So first of all, we have... This was from the first match that Cote d'Ivoire played against Nigeria, yeah? And here we have a ball. You can't see this really well. They didn't cut it well. But you see where Osimhen is? He's going up against Ousmane Diomande, one of the Ivorian center halves, a very young Ivorian center half. I believe he's only 19 years old, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 20. And the ball is coming in from a header from the left flank. I believe it was Sanusi that won the header. And what Osimhen does is he's just going to get good position on Diomande, use his strength to... Diomande is going to go up to try and win the ball in the air, but he's not going to win it because Osimhen uses his body to really box him out and let the ball bounce. So you're going to see ball's in the air. Look what Osimhen's doing with his right arm here. Has a hand on it. Boom. Shifts him a little bit. Lets the ball bounce. And then gets his leg there. And Diomande fouls Osimhen for the penalty. So I can't tell you how many times, time and time again, Osimhen's done this. Where the players are so... They want to meet him and prove that they're so physically demanding and that they can fight with him physically. I saw him do this against Angola twice. That when the ball is in the air, they get too close to him or they'll take a bad angle against him. And he's so intelligent that he'll fake like he's playing the ball and then he'll ghost behind the defender and he's off to the races. Or if he does play the ball, he's so strong that he can actually just bump them off, let the ball bounce, and now he has possession. So that's one example. I have a few examples from Osimhen here. I think we have 4. Look at this one. This is just, again, showing his strength, Here, Lookman plays a ball in, and it's a one-on-one, him against Kelonda Gaspar from Angola, their best center half. And the ball is not perfect. It's a difficult situation anyways, but the ball's not really perfect. I'm not sure what else Lookman could have done, but it's a difficult one. So, look at this. Osimhen, I didn't cut it correctly again, but he gives him just a little nudge with his left shoulder, throws him off. Gaspar goes flying. And Osimhen is still completely in control of the ball. Makes the right move here to his left foot, but credit to Kelonda Gaspar, the Angolan center half. He comes back and blocks the ball with his left foot. That's a great sequence of play, great attacking, great last-minute defending from Gaspar. One of the final screenshots here, this one is clear, The ball's coming in from... What you don't see in the screenshot is that Victor Osimhen was tracking back, closing down defenders, and he forced the throw in himself because of how he was tracking back. And they take a quick throw in, and look how quickly he closes down the Cameroonian defender. I forget who it was. I don't think it was Christopher Wu. It might be Omar Gonzalez. Yeah, Omar Gonzalez. 34 minutes, 56 seconds. Right here, 1 second later, I think we all know that Gonzalez is doomed. 2 seconds later, not even, it's still just 1 second later. That shows you how his long legs, his stride, He does a great job of putting those defenders under pressure and making them make unforced errors, as I've been showing you. Boom. And now, 2 seconds later, he's the last. I mean, he's gotten past the last man and he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But, you know, I think 80% of strikers, 100% of North African strikers probably would have fallen here and taken the red card and said, okay, you know what, now we have a man advantage for the rest of the game. What does Osimhen do? Shrugs off Gonzalez, get off of me. And look, gets his head up, finds Lookman, plays him in, and Nigeria lead 1-0. Beautiful play from Osimhen. Last thing I'm going to show you from Osimhen is this is against Equatorial Guinea. I love this play again. It's the same thing. This is just a simple goal kick from Equatorial Guinea. I think it's Semi Ajayi who goes up for the header. He heads the ball, and it's a long header, and it's Osimhen is the last man. And again, I don't know if you want to play. I'm still recording. I don't know if you want to play this high of a line against Victor Osimhen. So the Equatorial Guinean defender is playing him hard. What was I telling you? Like trying to show him, like, hey, I'm here, I'm on your back. But Victor Osimhen, he's acting as if he's right on the trajectory of the ball, and then he turns. There it is. And all of a sudden, the Equatorial Guinean defender is scrambling. He tries to get the head on it, but he heads it, but it goes backwards. And this is, oh my God. This is so beautiful. So now you're in trouble, right? Because who's going to catch Osimhen? This touch that he takes, look at where his body is. His body's facing the advertising boards. He's, a full 90-degree angle from the goal. And with his wrong foot, with his left foot, he's going to take such a great touch that allows him to continue sprinting at full speed. And Victor Osimhen is not really a striker that's known for his first touch or a beautiful touch or a great technique, really. It's more his physical attributes and his goal-scoring instincts that make him so dangerous. But this touch, he lets the ball bounce, and as soon as the ball touches the floor with his left foot, he puts it into this red zone area that I shaded. I mean, wow. And the perfect amount of weight, too, where the goalkeeper, Jesus Ogono, can't get there first. Maybe it could have been a little less powerful, just a touch, and he would have had a little more space to do something with the finish because Owono does a good job of closing out. And here it's a good chance. It's a very good chance that he created out of nothing, right? But Owono does a good job of starfishing, that technique, that modern goalkeeping technique that they do, and blocking it. So Osimhen, again, he can make you make unforced errors out of nothing. All those chances were, for me, like, they were not expected to be chances, except for maybe the Angola one. And just because of his physical attributes, because of his hunger, because of his anticipation, because of his instincts, he can make you make those mistakes. Why is that a problem for Cote d'Ivoire? For me, it's a big, big problem for Cote d'Ivoire because Cote d'Ivoire are naturally inclined to make mistakes in defense. Throughout this tournament, from the first match until the quarterfinals, let's say, Cote d'Ivoire made a whole host of mistakes, unforced mistakes from their defenders, especially the right side of defense. So when I talk about Ousmane Diomande, who started as a right center back, Odilon Kasunu, who played as a right center back, Serge Aurier, and Wilfred Singo. They've made so many unforced errors. So if Victor Osimhen is making you make errors, you cannot gift him, you cannot gift him chances as well. So let's take a look at some of the mistakes that Cote d'Ivoire made when defending. Here's the first example. This is against Guinea-Bissau. I was at this game. This is the opening match. Wilfred Singo is on the ball as a right back. And to be fair to Guinea-Bissau, I think they're doing an absolutely great job of defending here and of pressing. Look, where can he really go with the ball realistically? I think he can always go back to the goalkeeper, right? But even then, he would be under pressure. Or maybe the safe route is to just go vertical and try and play in one of your strikers. He does neither. He dribbles backwards. And I don't know if you can see Guinea-Bissau's right winger, but he's anticipating this pass coming in. So here, Singo can make one of two good passes, which I highlighted in yellow. He can go back to the goalkeeper, or he can go across to Evan Ndika with the right angle. But what he does is he tries to play Evan Ndika, his left center half, but with the wrong angle. And this is an unforced error. This is just bad passing. And eventually it's intercepted. Look at that. Evan Ndika picks up a yellow for no reason after he was thrown under the bus. And Mama Balde is off to the races, and Guinea-Bissau have a good goal-scoring opportunity. Unforced error from Cote d'Ivoire. Mistake number 2 from Cote d'Ivoire. Again, first match, Ousmane Diomande this time, the 19-year-old center half. What's crazy about this error is that, well, again, look at Guinea-Bissau and how they're set up. I think they have a pretty good defensive shape, yeah? The problem with Diomande here is he has so many passing options. He can go back to his goalkeeper. He can go to the right back. He can go to his center back. I don't know why I put the tip of the arrow in red, but he can go back to his center back. But what he does, he can even play Ibrahim Sangare, which he does, which is the red arrow. But he waits too long. He waits a full 2 to 3 seconds before playing that pass. And Mama Balde is completely anticipating this. And so it's telegraphed, right? The pass is telegraphed and it comes in. Unforced error. And Guinea-Bissau is off to the races. Here's another opportunity. Here's another example. This is against Senegal in the round of 16. Crepin Diatta on a long throw. You should never be in danger when a team has a throw inside of their half. But this is just over-aggressive defending for no reason. So Diatta gets the ball in, and apologies for the lower resolution on these screenshots. Ismail Assar wins a flick on. I think this is Jean-Michel Seri on the ball, who for some reason is playing too aggressively. I'm not sure if it's Sadio Mane. I think it's Sadio Mane who's chesting this back to Ismail Assar, and now Ismail Assar is off to the races. Now, let's look at Odilon Kasulu's angles here. You know Ismail Assar could be maybe one of the fastest wingers or one of the fastest attacking players in this Afcon. You have to be smarter than to take the angle that he takes. He takes the angle of this red dotted arrow instead of taking a more of a slanted 45-degree angle towards goal as well. And as a result, look at this. now he's screwed, right? Because Ismail Assar is way too fast. And he got very, very lucky to not concede a penalty kick over here, because this could have been 2-0 and this could have been game over if not for the poor refereeing performance of the Gabonese referee, Pierre Acho. And Kosono didn't just do this once. Kosono did this twice. This one against Mali. Again, here there should be no danger. We know, I knew that Mali plays long passes via Sekou Niakate, so Cote d'Ivoire had to have known that. I mean, if you review any kind of data, whether it be Y-Scout or other scouting platforms, you would know that Mali play these long passes from their left center half. So Kosono should know this. There's no danger here. Even after the pass is dispatched from Sekou Niakate, okay, so the ball is in the air. He has great positioning here. You can't play this any better, really. But he tries to play the man too aggressively. Instead of dropping off, playing it conservatively, waiting for reinforcements, he's trying to play this angle, which for me doesn't make any sense. He gets beat. The player, Kamori Doumbia, I believe, lets the ball bounce, as Victor Osimhen does every single time. He gets beat, and this time he does concede a penalty kick, right? And this is something that I can see Victor Osimhen doing time and time again if Odilon Kasunu plays against Cote d'Ivoire, because Odilon Kasunu has been playing too aggressively, and Victor Osimhen is a wizard at judging the trajectory of the ball in the air, occupying the defender so that the defender can't accurately judge the trajectory in the air, and then Osimhen uses his body or uses his anticipation and his speed to let the ball bounce, and he's off to the races. So those are like some of the things that I see from Cote d'Ivoire where they absolutely cannot give these unforced errors to Victor Osimhen, because he will make you pay. He makes you make unforced errors. So do not give him or gift him unforced errors. And in that way, I see... So who can Cote d'Ivoire play? I don't think they should play Odilon Kasunu, who returns from suspension, even though Kasunu is much better on the ball than, for example, a Willy Boli. But in my opinion, it'd be smarter to play a Willy Boli, the Nottingham Forest center half, who's more of the center half that's going to put his foot through the ball and just clear it, rather than, dwell on it like Umar Gonzalez did from Cameroon, get the ball stuck under his feet. Osimhen's going to nip in and tuck it away and score a goal, right? So Boli is a less mistake-prone center half. And then the final question is about the right back. Is it going to be Serge Aurier or Wilfred Singo? I think that's a question that we've been asking from the very beginning of this tournament, and we still don't have a good answer to. So yeah, that's some of the film study that we've done for this match. Just focusing on the two strikers and how they put teams under pressure. I can't wait for this one. There's no real surprises. Like I said, we know how both teams are going to set up. We know about the physical conditions of the teams and the fatigue, and now we know what makes each of those strikers that they have so dangerous. So how am I feeling? Let's go in for a prediction. Um, Me personally, this is going to be, I think, another close match. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to extra time. I love Victor Osimhen. I think he's been involved in every single goal except for the second goal against Angola. But because this is at home, because this is because of the crazy story that Cote d'Ivoire have written for themselves here, I just feel like there's too much momentum, there's too much spirit, there's too much unity. They're playing at home instead of the Bimpe. There's going to be the president of the country there. People are going to be in the stadium, 6 or 7 hours early. All of that, plus Simona Dingra and Sebastian Aller coming back, makes me think that I think Cote d'Ivoire are going to win this match just by one goal. I could see this being a 2-1 or a 1-0. But that's my prediction for this one. I'm not confident in it at all. I could absolutely see Nigeria win, but that's going to be my prediction for this match. So yeah, we'll leave it there. We've gone over 30 minutes. Apologies for the very, very long preview. Actually, no, I don't apologize for it. Yeah, this is the final of the Afcon. We need to do long previews. We're going to check in for the recap of South Africa versus DRC in the third place match. And then, of course, we're going to be recapping the final as well as doing some post-Afcon content in the week that follows the African Cup of Nations, where we could talk about, who are some of the revelations, who are the biggest winners, biggest losers, as we prepare to head into the March window, which is just a month away, and FIFA World Cup qualifying. So, yeah, no rest for the wicked. Football never stops. Thanks for listening to another episode of the African Vivicide podcast. We'll check in with you soon, and yeah, take care. Enjoy the match. Peace.